Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly. As you can see, we're still in the closet, but we do have a few of our little trinkets back behind us. I think we even have a little thing from the Keno wedding. The title of today's episode is Settled In, and I guess I'm now more or less settled in here in the new digs. It was a very, very busy week, which is one of the reasons why this show is delayed by approximately 24 hours or so. Friday was a very, very busy, crazy day, trying to get the last of my stuff moved out of the moving van and back into the apartment here so that we could return the moving van. I could tell some stories about this week, but I'm not sure that it's really relevant to the topic at hand. But yeah, we'll just say that if you've never driven one of those big moving vans up and down the interstate, it is an interesting experience. It's definitely a bit of wrestling to it, particularly when it's windy. So I was happy to make it up here successfully on Wednesday night. Thursday ended up being kind of a lost day because I just didn't have any energy. And then yesterday I got up fairly early and started making my way around, getting the rest of the stuff out of the van, including the bed. The bed is actually here in this bedroom, which wasn't the initial plan, but and unfortunately my junk is now scattered all over the apartment, and so need to work on that. Some of the junk is literally going to get trashed. I'm not moving all that stuff again, but again, my apologies that this show is so delayed, but mostly it's a result of what's been a pretty crazy week. I didn't work from Tuesday through Friday, but it was definitely a lot of work pulling everything together. It's amazing we actually managed to get our little short videos out this week, but we did. Definitely got to give credit to the wife. She's been having kind of a rough week, and yet she still helped me drag the bed and some of the other big items up the stairs yesterday, and so wow. But excited to be here and completely moved and heading into the holidays. Speaking of the holidays, we will do effectively a holiday live stream, and it's looking like that's going to be coming up a week from Wednesday. So we're going to tentatively schedule that out at December 14th. And it should be very exciting. As I alluded to in last week's episode, there's some new fun stuff coming to the channel. We will go ahead this week and maintain our regular recording schedule. The following week, we will probably not do a Tuesday and Thursday, a Vegas Tips and Tricks short, and we'll just do the live on the 14th. I don't know if we'll do any giveaways. I might do a merch giveaway again to draw a little more attention to the merch store, but we shall see on that front. But I think you're going to be impressed and pleased with the direction of the channel over the next 2 to 4 weeks at this point. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so to get started on today's show, I wanted to do a little mea culpa, a little bit of a correction, shall we say, related to last week's show. I was talking about tier matching opportunities between some of the major hotel chains and some of the players clubs there in Las Vegas, and I mistakenly told you that MGM Rewards tier matches with Marriott, and that isn't true. I want to thank Diana for hey, mentioning that and letting me know that we had gotten that wrong, and I don't know where that came from, whether that may have been a thing at some point. I know Marriott was affiliated with Cosmopolitan for a time, and obviously that will not be true anymore. But actually, the hotel loyalty program that will tier match with MGM Rewards is Hyatt, World of Hyatt. which is mostly properties that include the name Hyatt, which tend to be significantly more upscale properties than what you find in Wyndham, which is the company that tier matches with Caesars. So if you reach one of the top 2 tiers there with World of Hyatt, which from what I could see involves either 50 or 100 nights a year stay, then you can tier match up to gold on MGM, which is where it really starts to matter because you are able to waive the resort fees and so forth. Now you can get a Hyatt credit card, and there's some promotional offers there that would probably allow you reasonably to hit those numbers at least during the first year. But there you go. But if you're a regular Hyatt customer, as was a very good friend of mine, you can tier match to MGM Rewards. MGM also has another program that I thought was worth mentioning here today, and that is if you get the MGM credit card, and most of these players clubs anymore have some sort of a credit card program. Caesars has had one for a number of years now that I've taken advantage of. But if you get their credit card, it doesn't really, at least immediately, promote you to any particular tier level, but it does give you access to the priority check-in area, which is a huge bonus. If you've ever arrived in Las Vegas at your hotel and discovered an enormous, like 15-20 person line to get checked in, you definitely would want to take advantage of that. Normally you would have to be, I think, gold or platinum or noir in order to check in on those lines, but if you have that MGM credit card, you can do that. So definitely worth considering if you don't already have more credit cards than you need, like most of us do. Okay, before we go on with the rest of the show, I did also want to acknowledge my friend Dell Me On Vacation. Follow him on Twitter, subscribe to him on YouTube. He does some great stuff, great guy. And he pointed out that there's also a connection between the IHG Hotel Group and Venetian Palazzo. It's too bad that there's not a larger group of casinos associated with it, because IHG is a nice sort of middle ground. Again, as I have mentioned, Wyndham is kind of mostly lower-end properties, which works for me because I'm kind of a lower-end guy. Hyatt, typically higher-end properties. IHG has a nice mix of sort of mid-range business hotels. And so if you're a member of that particular loyalty group and you spend some time there, definitely worth exploring the opportunities as far as using that to your advantage at Venetian Palazzo. Certainly one of the nicer properties anywhere in Las Vegas. Now, the one last thing I really wanted to talk about in terms of some of these hotel / loyalty programs, comps, is the fact that surprisingly enough, there are a number of properties in Las Vegas that are not associated with these huge chains of hotels and casinos, like we talk about with MGM Rewards, like we talk about with Caesars Rewards. One I will mention, Boyd. Boyd has a lot of casinos and hotels all over the United States. I know there was one in Kansas, there was one in Missouri, right across the border in Kansas City. They have a number of hotels and casinos everywhere. And, you know, if you have a hotel or casino near you, and the vast majority of people in the United States are within an hour or two of a casino hotel property, then you may be able to parlay your play or your spend at those properties into some kind of comps in Las Vegas. So that's a good thing. And, you know, obviously Caesars probably is the largest chain of hotels and casinos anywhere. And MGM also has a number of properties, not nearly as many. I know they have some in, like in Detroit, Biloxi, up in the Northeast in a few places. So, but that's a great way to build comps in Las Vegas, by actually playing at a casino you would play at anyway locally. Another thing to keep an eye on is the fact that there are some surprising hotel casino affiliations in Las Vegas. And for example, the Sahara Hotel. is affiliated with the Grand Sierra Hotel in Reno, which is kind of quite a ways off the Reno Strip. But if you've ever stayed there, it's something you can take advantage of. Tropicana, which may any day become Bally's, once Bally's becomes Horseshoe, is now affiliated with the Bally's chain of hotels and casinos. There's one of those in Kansas City as well, I believe. So something to keep an eye on there. For a number of years, I think it was connected with Penn National, which I believe is still connected with the M Resort, way in the south part of Las Vegas. In addition, the Golden Nugget downtown is affiliated with a couple of other Golden Nugget locations around the country. Anytime you're staying at any property in Las Vegas, make sure you research what company owns that property and what other properties they may have around the country, because it may be to your advantage. You may not even need to get a new loyalty card. You can use one you already have, but it can't hurt and could certainly help you earn some cash. I know, I think it was yesterday or today, I happened to check out a tweet by our friend Vital Vegas, Scott, who had an opportunity to meet last September. Nice guy. He pointed out something really interesting, and that is that very few hotels and casinos in Las Vegas are actually owned physically. The physical plant is not owned by the companies that actually operate those casinos. Years ago now, Caesars spun off their actual property owning component to another company, which I believe has actually evolved into this company called Vici, V-I-C-I. I'm saying Vici because I believe that would be the proper Italian pronunciation. And Vici has been slowly absorbing practically every hotel and casino on the Las Vegas Strip. It's absolutely insane. Scott pointed out that they had recently acquired essentially complete physical ownership of, I think it was Bellagio and MGM Grand from the Blackstone Group. And it is strange, but Las Vegas hotels and casinos are basically operational groups. They don't own anything anymore. The ownership is with these large real estate investment companies who then lease back the property and the operations. For example, when the Mirage, which that should finalize any day now, was sold to Hard Rock, it didn't sell any of the physical property. It sold the operations, which is also still owned by this Vici company, which practically owns everything. And of course, the actual operators pay a rent essentially every year. And I mean, there are some tax advantages. There are some reasons to do this, but it is kind of crazy because it's just none of these properties are actually owned by the people who operate them. And I just thought that was a really interesting point to talk about. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap this up this week. If you have any great ideas or if you'd like me to talk about any particular topics about Las Vegas in the weeks to come, be sure to comment on that in the comments below. I do know that coming up very soon, I think within the next week or so, my very, very good friend Mark, Pennies for Vegas, will be back in Las Vegas, and I have no doubt that he will continue to provide those every single morning, daily vlogs that he's become so famous for. So definitely keep an eye on that. If you haven't checked out his channel recently, do that. I think he took a little side trip to Toronto this week to celebrate my bestie, Liz's birthday. So happy birthday to Liz. Hope you had a great time, and we look forward to seeing Mark's misadventures coming up in Las Vegas over the next few weeks. At least I know I will. When will I get back to Vegas? I don't know. I'm starting to look seriously at the month of March, and so if I get anything nailed down over the next few days or few weeks, I'll be sure to let you all know. But again, thanks for your patience with this week's episode. And again, reminder, a lot of exciting things coming up on the channel. I'm not talking about a t-shirt. I'm not talking about a one-time thing. I'm talking about some big-time changes that I think you're going to notice in our regular programming. Some real upgrades there. So I hope you'll stay tuned. Let your friends know, if you haven't checked out the channel for a while, to come on back and watch the episodes, because I think you're going to really enjoy it. All right, so we'll be back next week with our regularly scheduled shorts on Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll be back next Saturday with another episode of Vegas Tips and Tricks, hopefully before late night. Until then, I hope you have a great, lucky, and healthy week, and we'll see y'all again real soon. Bye-bye.